playoffs, I mean, they've been extremely exciting. We've gotten this great series, a huge surprise out of the Hawks. I mean, really just kind of taking to the Bucks, at least in Game 1. We have the Suns and the Clippers. I mean, that series is up 3-1 now, so good for the Suns. I really hope CP3 gets into his first NBA Finals, and I'm kind of hoping that they actually take it all. And I think one of the greatest things about the NBA this week, Jalen, is that the Globetrotters want to be a real NBA team. It's like Pinocchio, man. I want to be a real boy, man. The Globetrotters want to be a real NBA team. We'll talk that. Also, we're going to start divisional breakups. So we do one a week, looking at some teams that haven't won the Super Bowl yet, but which ones had the best chance of doing that this year. Take a look at some second-year wide receivers. A proposed 12-team playoff in college football. Will it work, and how bad do you want it? Go and take a look at the first week of these new substance checks that the MLB is doing. I got a rant for you. If you haven't listened to my first weekend wind down, then you're in for a treat with this rant. And then also some NHL previews for the Stanley Cup, and that's going to be with our AFL guy, Coach Donnie Hess. So that's going to be a great time. Hear a new voice here on the episodic shows. And then I got a good one for the Nay of the week. But of course, I'm your host, Ross Allen, joined alongside by the Jalen Johnson. Jalen, how are we feeling today?
Feeling good today. Feeling good. Ready to get another episode done.
Yeah, you better be feeling good. I'm just recording the day after his birthday, so happy birthday, yes, Jalen. Woo!
The big 2-2.
You old ass. Good for you. As a kid, I'm happy for you, buddy. Glad you made it another year on this earth. And sometimes I feel bad for you, but it is what it is. But before we get into the playoffs and NBA talk, just want to give a shout out to our sponsors, Thrive Fantasy, for all your sports prop betting needs. Going over to the best website in sports prop betting source in the world. That's thrivefantasy.com, or you can download the app on the Apple App Store or the Google Play Store. And if you get started today, you can put a deposit down for $20 or up to $50, and they will match you dollar for dollar if you use our promo code fourth and long. So go ahead, get yourself some money and get started on that today. And also a shout out to all of our beautiful patrons. The best way to support the show is through Patreon, because YouTube don't give us ads yet, and even when they do, it's still not that much money. So go on over to patreon.com/fourthandlong, and for just $1 a month you can get started today. Just one, man. Just one. I mean, we're all broke. You ain't that broke, are you? Nah, I'm just playing. Love you all. Thank you so much just
if
for
you don't give us $1, you're a broke boy.
Oh, no, Joe. Let's not alienate the fans yet. Also, quick shout out real quick. Hey,
I don't make the rules.
Hey, he just enforces them. But just a quick shout, I'm not sure if those 2% of fans listen to these weekly shows. It might be an AFL kind of thing, or maybe they're the UFC fans. They listen to the UFC talks. But shout out to 2% of our audio listeners come from Hungary. So let's go. I would have never thought that would be a thing, man. Right? I am hungry for some more views.
Don't do that.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah,
there goes that 2%.
Yeah, there goes the 2%. They're never coming back.
Oh, well, it'll be like that. But let's get into NBA, man. So one thing that I brought up on the weekend wind down is almost kind of, I wanted to propose this question, see what you think about it, Jalen. And is that, have the NBA playoffs actually been better without the stars? We've seen an increase in viewership this year, and then a little spike ever since the Lakers and LeBron James were eliminated. So what do you think about this?
I don't think it's been necessarily better. I think it's made the competition closer, per se. So I guess, the games have been closer. It makes it a little bit more exciting. Some teams who probably wouldn't have won series are going to win series because people are down. But at the same time, I feel like this is the time of stars. Like, they're all in the NBA. Yeah, you're not going to always have the LeBrons and the Kyries and the KDs in every single series. But I think it's kind of shown where the NBA is now at this point. Everything is so close. You're always one good player away from a playoff win or a series win or an NBA championship. The Phoenix Suns, who are a nobody team last year pretty much, now all of a sudden are in the Western Conference Finals. The Hawks, who are the 5th seed in the NBA, are now in the Eastern Conference Finals. So it just shows what difference 1 year or one player can make. And I feel like that is more, I guess exciting in that sense.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like the times themselves are more exciting.
Mm.
It's not just the superstars being out.
I've been a fan of it. I mean, we've seen guys like Anthony Davis, LeBron James, James Harden, Kawhi Leonard. We've seen huge names like those have gone down. Obviously, they've had a negative impact on their teams because, Kawhi Leonard, they went down 3-1 to the Suns on the verge of being eliminated. The Lakers, obviously, they got eliminated round 1. I thought the Suns were going to take that series anyway, so it just helped them. Obviously, the Nets end up losing to the Hawks. So I kind of like it. One of the things, I'm an NBA fan. I'm not a huge one, though. And one of the things has been kind of the lack of parity the last, I want to say 5 years. Like, the Warriors dynasty definitely didn't help. But the playoffs were just so predictable, over the last 5 years, man. I mean, it was the Lakers, it was the Warriors, and it was the Cavs when LeBron was with the Cavs.
What was it, since 2010, this is the first NBA final that will not include the Lakers, the Heat, or the Warriors.
Oh. See, man, I like that. I like fresh playoffs. There's almost no other sport in the world that has playoffs that predictable. So, I'm a fan of it. Obviously, it sucks without the star power, but if you want to look at viewership numbers...
There's going to be a new thing at the NBA draft. If you're too good, you can't play.
They're just going bench stars.
Everyone from the first round gets benched in playoffs.
Hey, you know how we're trying to get teams to stop doing the whole rest games or whatever the hell you want to call them? No, mandatory rest games in the playoffs.
Mandatory. You have to rest your stars. You can only use your star. Wait, this sounds like an amazing idea.
Okay.
At the same time, a stupid idea.
Okay.
You can only use your stars a certain amount of times per year. So it's pretty much turns to baseball.
You put an inning cap on these people?
Yeah, you can only use your ace so many times in a season. You can only use your star players certain games.
I would like that, but for one thing, it's stupid. For another,
it's horrible. Yeah.
That would cost NBA so much money. So the bottom line is all about that.
Yeah, because then people are going to show up to the games where they know that the star players are being rested.
Right. So, man, you're going to have half the games sold out crowds, the other half no one. It's going to look like COVID.
Only seeing LeBron 10 times a year.
Oh, shoot, that might make me happy and a lot of other people in the NBA. At least the ones you see on Twitter. All those weirdos saying, I swear, I hate Twitter replies so much.
Twitter is something else.
It's so if I didn't have to do it for work. Speaking of which, go on and follow at Fourth Long Radio over on Twitter, and also Instagram at Fourth Long Radio. We just hit 600 followers. Woo! So big stuff. Thank you for all of you. I guess that makes...
Yeah, I started personal DMing people, so thank you for the people that listen.
Well, Twitter has always been my primary, but is Instagram not my primary? Huh? Shoot.
I don't know. I kind of just work behind the scenes whenever you're not paying attention. That's kind of what I do.
Which is almost never, because I'm always on it. Totally.
That's a lie. Let's continue.
Speaking of a guy that's not always on it, let's talk Ben Simmons and his three-point shooting.
That was hurtful. Great segue, but that was hurtful to him. He's going to cry whenever he happens to listen to this.
Oh, no. The only people that are going to cry are Kings fans if you stray it to them. Oh, man.
Oh, my goodness.
I really hope that...
Oh, my God.
For your sake, Jan, I really hope that proposed trade that we've been seeing does not happen. But
I'm not a Kings fan. I'm a Giants fan. It's baseball season. Leave me alone.
At least you got one thing going for you right now.
Yeah.
But there's three main trade destinations that look most likely for Ben Simmons if he doesn't stay with the 76ers. And that is the Golden State Warriors, the Dallas Mavericks, and probably the Chicago Bulls. So if we're looking at one of these three, who is the best fit, and which team would you prefer him to be on?
I think the team that could offer them the best trade package for Ben Simmons would most likely be the Bulls. I feel like the Bulls, not Adam Levine.
Oh no!
Someone made a Maroon 5 joke at work today, and I said Adam Levine. Zach Levine. It doesn't really like Chicago, to be honest with you. I don't think he wants to be there much longer. I think he's kind of wasting his talent over there. I feel like switching Ben Simmons into the Chicago area, getting a good trade package over there to the 76ers, along with some picks and some young players that the Bulls have on their roster. They can now build around their new center that they just got in free agency and a draft pick or whatever they get this year, if they end up still having one. I feel like Ben Simmons was put into a better situation. He gets to be a leader of a team, puts pressure on himself to have to develop his skills fast into an elite level that he has not shown in a while. And I feel like it puts Zach LaVine into a great position with Joel Embiid, Tobias Harris, and Seth Curry over there. And I feel like that is now a team I would love to see competing in the Eastern Conference Finals right now.
Hey, Seth over Steph, don't have me.
Yeah.
Same
boat.
Oh, no. Yeah, no. Full disclaimer, I am joking. I am 100%.
Full disclaimer, I am not. I'm playing.
Oh! And speaking of trades, too, let's talk about Dame Lillard. Because with the hiring of Chauncey Billups, he does not seem too pleased. At least there's been some reports saying that the backlash for the Portland Trail Blazers coaching search and his concerns over whether a championship contender can be built have become major factors that could force Damian Lillard to request out. League sources tell Yahoo Sports. So
I feel like it'd be a lot better,
right? Those
if
crazy league
stars
sources
instead
that
of requesting out.
Yeah.
What was that?
Oh, I'm just talking about these. I mean, there's so many people that go by the name league sources. It's, right?
League sources is a very common name.
How many people are called league sources? How popular was that name? Is it like from a popular baby's name in the 80s?
I guess so. It's just starting to pop up now. No one really noticed.
Parents,
I guess it's probably a good
get
name in
more creative, please. I'm having a hard time telling which source is source.
But I think it would be a lot funnier if NBA players, when they went to request out of a place, just like Damian Lillard, first game of the season, they hand him the ball, he just throws full court shots the whole game. He's like, trade me. And then every single game they don't trade him. The next game he just punts the ball out of into the third stand.
That's what Aaron Rodgers should do. Everything. If the Packers don't trade him, which they should trade him to the Denver Broncos, by the way, go Broncos. Jones, they'd be jealous as hell. But what you gotta do is, if Aaron Rodgers, you take the snap, you play your games, you get your money, and just huck that ball as far as you can into the stands.
No, like, he gets him into a great position to win, and then fourth quarter he goes, "Are you going to trade me?" And he's like, "Why did we do that?" And he throws a pick six to the other team. He's like, "You're going to trade me now?" Want to see me do it again?
That'd be great, man. I don't blame Dame if he wants to get out. He deserves to be on a better team. Please don't hate me, Portland Trail Blazers fans, but you guys... Probably, you're going to need more than just Dame Lillard and CJ McCollum and
Carmelo Anthony.
Man. I mean, great guys. Don't get me wrong. You're not winning a championship with them. So,
no.
As long as Dame doesn't go to the frickin' Lakers, I will be happy. If he goes to the Lakers, I will stop watching basketball.
Isn't Anthony Davis an upcoming free agent this also?
I
no, that's
believe
Kawhi.
so.
Kawhi is a big name.
Ooh, I swear. If Kawhi goes to the Lakers,
Yes.
Hey, I mean, everyone. I'll say that for any free agent. It doesn't matter how bad they are, how good they are. Please don't go to the Lakers.
Go to the Kings.
Go to the Kings,
You deserve
man.
a chance.
Sign with the Kings, or if this is actually going to happen, sign with the Harlem Globetrotters. Oh, damn, I know it's early, but those transitions, man.
Yes.
Oh.
The transitions have been on point.
I'm feeling myself today, baby. Call me touchy-feely from UFC Vegas 30. Oh, yeah. Shout out to my Team Alpha Male, guys. Love you all. But the Globetrotters penned an open letter to Adam Silver in the NBA, saying that they believe that they have the talent or that they be able to field a team is on par with the talent in the NBA, and they want to become an official NBA team for the legacy that they've had, and also if the NBA is looking to expand. So is this real? Mm-hmm. And do you actually want to see this? Because I'll be real, I'm kind of on board with it.
To be honest, the only reason that anybody would have for not letting this is just being lazy. Because if you add them, you have to add another team.
Yeah.
You have to have it even. It has to be 34 teams at that point. We're at 30. I'm thinking the NFL. We're at 32.
Yeah, you are. We need
have
32.
to be at 32.
Put team back in Seattle. Call it good.
Yeah, I mean that'd work. But then actually, I don't think I'd mind it. In the overall, I think one really good upside for this, it would spread talent out. Talent would have to spread to different places,
yes,
which then keeps people from making super teams because there are 32 teams.
Yes,
that's not one thing I would like to see. But at the same time, I think that the Harlem Globetrotters aren't going to like it if they make it into the NBA. I feel like if it comes down to them, they have the team that they have now, and yes, they are good in what they do. But at the same time, they don't realize that they're not going to do the new draft. There's a lot of new people going to come in. Some of them are going to get kicked off the team. Some people are like, "Yeah, put us in the NBA. You're not going to be on the team next year."
Man, I really don't like entertaining as hell. Yes, good for the league. Probably not. Probably not. Well,
unless it's like a rest game for like the teams, or I have a proposition. You guys don't get to be a team, but you guys face the NBA All-Star team every All-Star break. The All-Star team is now broken down to 15 players. Only the top 15 players make it. Top 15 versus the Globetrotters every single year All-Star break.
Also, rule, Jalen, I'll add on to that. That music that's in the background of every Harlem Globetrotters commercial has to be playing the whole game.
Whole game. It puts them in that advantage.
Man, this is one of the last things I was expecting to see in NBA news this week.
I slept through that day, and it was so funny.
I'm sorry, man.
I woke up and I saw the post on Instagram on our page, and I was like,
"You mean the greatest Instagram page on
the greatest Instagram page
at Fourth Line Radio? Go follow, run by the greatest social media account manager in the world."
I woke up and I saw this, and I was like, "I didn't know we were posting jokes today."
Was it April Fool's, man?
I saw it on Bleacher Report. I saw it on ESPN. I saw it on Sports Center. I was like, something's not right here.
Oh, it ain't adding up, man. So
just so y'all know, we made that post before Sports Center and before ESPN and before Bleacher Report. We put it first. We can't shout out our sources, though.
Oh, I can. Hit up my homeboy, League Sources.
League sources.
Oh yeah, hey, that's my guy right there. That's my guy. He is the GOAT. Okay,
he's the number one league source.
Hey, shout out to homie League Sources. You the man. I'm gonna have to go on NBA and make it's 2K. I'll make a player called League Sources. He's gonna be my MVP.
I think it's gonna be great. Like I love envisioning the days when we actually have like real people named League Source that we actually get league sources from. Right now, we're just quick with it. We can't give up what we have, but we have what our little bit is. But I can't wait till I can just call NBA player and be like, "Yo, why the hell Ben Simmons missing all these free throws, man?"
Hey, Armageddon. Hey, man, how you feeling?
Yeah.
Just
and then we can.
Hey, man, these league sources always ask for news, man. They don't care about the actual players, okay?
Yeah, Shannon Sharp, when he got to call Julio, I want to be able to call Julio live on the show while we're recording and give y'all stuff like that. But for that to happen, y'all gotta follow and stuff, man.
Also, for that to happen, you should donate to the Patreon.
You gotta donate. You gotta have money to
become a Patreon member. Hey, it's not a donation. You're getting something in return. So.
It's not a donation. It's an investment.
I like that. I like it. Oh man, let's when it comes to investing, you have to invest in your teams to win the Super Bowl.
Man.
All right, now that one might have missed.
No, that one was kind of close.
Oh, that was kind of close. NFL news. Let's talk that. So, if you've been paying attention to social medias, which you should, like we've been plugging this entire show, we probably said it 100 times by now. I'm so sorry if you got annoyed by that. But also, we're going to do some more Twitter, Instagram at Fourth Line Radio.
I'm going to do a compilation of all of Ross's segues. And so we have Ross's best segues and Ross's worst segues. I'm going to have that for you guys at the end of the year.
Hey, I'm going to hold you to that then. I'm going to hold you to that. Hey, I know you got some downtime at work.
I do.
Exactly. But two teams stand out the most. So there's 4 teams here that I'm going to talk about. 2 in the AFC and 2 in the NFC. These teams have never won the Super Bowl, although they've all appeared in them. We have the Buffalo Bills that, of course, famously appeared in 4 straight and didn't win a single one. You got the Tennessee Titans. They appeared in against the greatest show on turf, Didn't win that one. Did not go too well. I mean, with Dyson half a yard away from winning that game.
1 yard short. And ever since that day, every single Pee Wee junior program, high school, college coach has been saying it comes down to 1 yard.
And now we can't say them wrong, but yeah, it does, man. So we got no way to carry that.
Yeah, I lost a couple of games because of 1 yard.
Oh yeah.
Thanks, Milgo.
Let's not talk about the old awful high school days. I thought that was way behind us, pal. But then the NFC, I know you are. We all know it. We got the Cardinals and the Vikings. So all four of these teams are really good this year. I think that, I mean, everyone knows that the Bills and Titans are damn good teams. They're going to be top contenders in the conference. I think the Cardinals and Vikings might be being a little more overlooked right now and really do have a chance to compete not only in their division. The Vikings, I'll say right now, if Aaron Rodgers doesn't return to the Green Bay Packers, hopefully gets right to the Denver Broncos, the Vikings actually have a really good chance, and I think they might be able to take the NFC North. So, Jalen, out of these four teams, who do you think this season has the best chance to win the Super Bowl? Their first
not to
Super
be
Bowl.
Biased or anything.
I think you're just... and when you say that, Jalen, it has me thinking that you're going to say the most biased stuff I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah, kind of like when someone says not to be racist, but...
Oh, no.
I don't know. I feel like my personal opinion, looking at the Cardinals team right now, I think they're in a perfect position if, and these are big ifs, if they get AJ Green back from before they had those wallows. Because in the last season, he looked like he just didn't want to play. To be honest, that's why we don't know what we're gonna get. We don't know what AJ Green we're gonna get, because AJ Green last year didn't look like he wanted to play, so it was hard to tell. Is he not like he doesn't want to play because he can't, or because he just doesn't want to play for the Bengals? Now that he's out of the atmosphere, we can see what he does. We can see the Cardinals' run game. If Kyler Murray can see if he can keep up the slight progress he's been making every single year, has been on the upwards side. So hopefully it keeps going that direction. If that happens, it will definitely be a top contender, especially with D Hop out there also across from AJ Green, which would be a great duo if that works out. I think my non-biased choice, I would have to go with the Titans. That team made it pretty good last season with Derrick Henry rushing for over 2,000 yards, and that's crazy. Most people, you're like, oh yeah, he ran for 2K with passing yards, all-purpose yards above 2K. He ran by himself 2,000 yards, and now they add Julio Jones to that offense, and they already have an A.J. Brown out there who's been progressing crazily since he's been in the NFL. And now you put those two on receiving. You have Tannehill, who's above average but gets the job done effectively. Yeah. And you have Derrick Henry in the backfield. That's a tough team. It's going to come down to if their defense can hold up on that side of the ball, which I think their defense is built to withstand a good amount. I feel like they kind of look like the Kansas City Chiefs team that ended up winning the Super Bowl 2 years ago. I feel like that's what they look like right now. Obviously with a weaker quarterback, but a better run game. So hopefully that run game can make up for the lack of star power at the QB position. But I feel like they look like a great team, and they're definitely going to be a team to watch out for.
For me, it's no offense to the NFC teams, but probably not going to happen. So it's going to be between the Titans and the Bills for me. And I am going to go with the Buffalo Bills. I still like them over the Titans, and I still like them as huge competitors to the Chiefs. If you take a look at the Chiefs' schedule, there's more. It probably won't happen, but there's a possibility that they're 0-3 after 3 weeks of the season. So gotta take a look at that one. But I like what the Bills are doing. Obviously, we're going to get a second year. We're going to get a more improved Josh Allen. We're going to get a more improved with the chemistry with Stephon Diggs, and they. Hopefully, if Zach Moss is healthy, they're going to have a real run game now.
Did they draft running back?
They did, and also I do like what Devin Singletary was developing to do, and also even the third stringer Matt Breida. We saw what Matt Breida was able to do with the San Francisco 49ers. When this dude gets into open space, he is gone. And so with the backfield of these three guys, it's very unlikely. I mean, half the games that the Bills played last year, Josh Allen was a leading rusher for them. You can't win Super Bowls with the quarterback as a leading rusher, or at least 99% of the time, you can't win Super Bowls as a quarterback as a leading rusher. So that's not going to happen. And that also a slightly improved defense as well. So this is a really good Bills team that only got better this offseason. So I would take them, but knowing them, they're going to get to the Super Bowl again. And they're going to lose again because, unfortunately, I love the Bills Mafia, but I swear this franchise can't catch any breaks. Oh, the only thing that breaks for them is some folding tables. Oh, man. Speaking of breaks and the Bills, let's talk. Thank you. I appreciate that. I'll be here all week. Actually, yeah, I'll be here all week. Hit us up on socials, Twitter and Instagram.
We're available to you whenever you need us.
Unless I'm sleeping. I do like my sleep.
If Ross is sleeping, I'm most likely awake.
Because you have insomnia. It's unreal. But let's talk more Bills, and let's talk the AFC East. And, of course, another series I've been doing recently on our socials is taking a look at floors and ceilings of each division in the NFL. And I started with the AFC East. Of course, Bills, Dolphins, Patriots, and the Jets. So, what do you think this division is going to ultimately look like in terms of standings? And who do you think has the biggest possibility to surprise in this division?
I believe that the very most common way for this to go is going to be Bills, number one. I feel like that's kind of how everyone thinks it's going to go. I feel like it's the other three that we're kind of mixed about. We don't know how Zach Wilson's going to perform. We don't know if he's going to turn that thing all the way around. We don't know how Tua's going to perform being the new number one quarterback all season, most likely. And we don't know who the starting quarterback is going to be for the Patriots.
Right now, it's kind of looking like it might not be Cam Newton, given what's been going down in practice, at least going off of reports from none other than our very own league sources.
I think, in my opinion, I think that this season is not going to go how everyone thinks it's going to go for the AFC East. In number one finish, for last place, I'll go from bottom top. Last place, I think, is going to be the Jets. I feel like the Jets aren't going to be as bad as they were last year, so I don't think they're going to make a huge jump. I think they're going to make a jump that's noticeable for people to know that they are developing and going in the right direction, but I do not think that they can beat out the other three teams in this division for any of those spots. In three, I have the Patriots. I feel like they're going to have this QB competition all the way through the season. I feel like whoever starts is going to end up playing crappy. That next person going to play, they're going to play crappy, and it's going to be a back and forth all season until one of them ends up taking the rest of the season. I feel like both quarterbacks are going to get stars throughout the season. I feel like it's going to be a mix either way. In second place finishing in the division, I have the Buffalo Bills. I think that if their run game stays the way it played last year, they're not going to be able to compete like they did. Stephon Diggs was able to shock the league last year and what he did, but at the same time, I don't think that they can do that again and have them win games in that exact way without a run game, and they didn't improve too much in the run game, so I don't think that just passing and relying on Josh Allen to run that much is going to work out. It happens to many quarterbacks. The quarterback is trying to run all the time and gets hurt. Team goes downhill late in the season. So I think the Dolphins have the best chance of winning this division outside of the Buffalo Bills. I think the Dolphins have Tua, and he's looking great. The Dolphins finished with a great record last year, barely missed the playoffs, and they looked great even with two quarterbacks playing. I feel like with Tua taking the reins and being able to do what he does and have a team built around him with the players that they got in the draft and the players that they got in free agency, I feel like they built a good team and a good locker room over there. I feel like they can shock the entire world and win the division this year.
I like that. I like that because I think they could be a really good team. I like what they have building there. They have some offensive weapons. Over on the defense, they have one of the best defensive backfields in the league. They're really, really stout there. My biggest concern is going to be Tua, though, because too many times we had to see the Dolphins essentially bail him out with none other than Fitzmagic, because that guy just keeps on doing Fitzmagic things, and he can stop himself. I guess that guy is insane, but it really their success. I mean, yeah, you could say that most teams' success comes down to their quarterback. That's a fair take, and that's a fair thing to say. But I think it more than most teams, it really comes down to what Tua for the Dolphins, because a defense can only take you so far. They have a decent run game, not fantastic. You're going to need a quarterback to facilitate that, and you're going to need a quarterback to throw the ball. So I think that I'm really confident that the division is going to be bookended by the Bills and the Jets. Of course, the Jets are first, Bills in last. I'm kidding. My biggest toss-up is who's going to be second and third, because the Patriots and the Dolphins are right there. If the Patriots hit their ceiling, I think they could beat the Dolphins. But if they don't, they're going to get third. So right now, I am rolling with the Bills, Dolphins, Patriots, and Jets. But man, I'm really torn between the Patriots and the Dolphins, especially after the kind of off season that the Patriots had.
It's like I want Cam Newton to do good, so I want to say the Patriots are going to be second. But at the same time, I know that might not happen. That QB competition might be rough. So I do think they'll finish third.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this, the battle between the Patriots and Dolphins. And if it comes down to I swear, almost every season, I always feel like the Patriots play at the Dolphins. And almost every year, it's some crazy ending. I remember Gronk missing that Hail Mary at the end, or missing that tackle. So if it comes down to that, shoot, I got the Dolphins in that one. Just going off of what we
gotta
see
take
now.
the Dolphins every time in that one,
right? And then the last thing we want to talk about for NFL is some second-year wide receivers, and 3 of the ones I believe that are going to be at the top is going to be the Cowboys, CeeDee Lamb, the Raiders, Henry Ruggs III, and then the Broncos, Jerry Jeudy. Now, out of these. I did say top 5. You are correct. Thank you very much. And of course, you're going to have Justin Jefferson. I mean, that really goes without saying, doesn't it? Mm-hmm. And then I'm kind of torn on who I think the top 5th one might be, because I really like the Jags, Laviska Shenault. He's really solid. But then also Brandon Ayuk for the Niners. So shoot, maybe we'll just go 5A and 5B. But out of those, who do you think will be the best one? Who do you think will be the best one? And then who do you think has the best chance of surprising it and kind of making a huge statement in sophomore season?
I think the best one is going to be CeeDee Lamb. But CeeDee Lamb's going to get a full season with Dak. Mm-hmm. If Dak's throwing how he was throwing before he went out with injury, I feel like CeeDee Lamb's going to have a crazy year. He's going to perform how I thought he was going to perform in his rookie year. I thought he was going to be the top rookie receiver, but obviously with having to switch between quarterbacks so often, with the injuries that went on last year, he didn't get a chance to shine how he would have shined. And even though he did shine a lot last year, and at some points was under the radar with his performances week after week, I think he's going to be the best second-year receiver out of this group. I do think Justin Jefferson is still going to be a top receiver, but I honestly think Justin Jefferson is going to keep doing what he's doing. I don't think he's going to get better. I don't think he's going to get worse. I think he's going to be one of those 1,200-yard receivers during the most of his prime in good years. My receiver who I think will surprise the most, I was really stuck on the same 2 receivers you were stuck on for your 5A and 5B. Mm-hmm. I had it between Laviska Shenault and Brandon Ayuk. I think Brandon Ayuk kind of comes down to who's playing quarterback and how they perform. I think if Jimmy Garoppolo is a quarterback, I don't think he's going to perform very well, just because I feel like Garoppolo tends to get very favorite happy and targets one guy very often. So if he ends up being that favorite, he'll have a great year.
But if you got Trey Lance hucking that pigskin down the field.
Yeah, I feel like his best chance of having a breakout season for Brandon Ayuk is if Trey Lance is the starting quarterback. That young guy kind of relationship that always happens between first year quarterbacks and second year receivers. Tends to be beautiful. So I hope that type of relationship can spark between Lance and Ayuk. But I think Laviska Shenault has the best chance of being a breakout quarterback. and with all the hype coming out around Trevor Lawrence in camp so far and in practice, I think Laviska Shenault's finally going to have a great quarterback throwing to him. No offense to Gardner Minshew, but I think that team has been built great this offseason with free agency and with the draft, even adding Travis Etienne in the backfield.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that adds a even better run game with those two, Robinson and Robinson in the backfield as well. I feel like that's a great run game, allows it to open up the pass game. And if Trevor Lawrence slings the ball how he was slinging it in college, then I feel like Laviska Shenault is going to be one of the main targets right behind DJ Chark. And so I think Laviska Shenault was probably going to be the biggest surprise out of the group.
Yeah, I think that's a really good pick. I think that's a really good pick with the offense they got going on. CeeDee Lamb obviously could be really good too. I think though, I really don't want to sound like a homer when I say this, but I do think Justin Jefferson, I think, is still going to be the best second-year receiver in the league because that guy is phenomenal, and they have a really good thing going in Minnesota. But a guy that has the best chance to have more of a breakout season is Jerry Jeudy, just because he almost had a bit of an underwhelming rookie season. Didn't help when he had a quarterback that was not good, and then that the number one wide receiver was injured the whole year in Cortland Sutton. So essentially you're a rookie, and you became the top target. That's never an easy thing to go under. And then he did have some injuries, and he did also have some problems when it came to actually catching the football. He had a good number of drops last season. So if he's able to get that down, we saw plenty of times he was open. Plenty of times we saw him put some vicious moves on some Falcons defenders early on in the season and really kind of embarrass some people. And especially if they get Aaron Rodgers.
Not going to happen.
I know, Gio. Let me hype myself up so I could be really disappointed. But if something crazy like that does happen, the sky is really the limit for this guy, and I do think that he's going to have at least a better season this year. There's a good chance he breaks 1,000 receiving yards. But, man, second-year wide receiver talent is high. We didn't even talk about T. Higgins, too, so he could be good with Joe Burrow.
T. Higgins, I think, is going to be great. With A.J. Green kind of out of the spotlight, I think that he has the chance to become that top target and develop into a number one receiver, even if it ends up not being his whole career with the Bengals. I feel like somewhere he can be a top one receiver.
Yeah, I really like what he has going. But let's roll from the professionals to the collegiate, and let's take a look at college football because, normally we don't talk college football, but normally nothing crazy happens for college football. Unless we're talking a proposed 12-team playoff system that is, quite frankly, just fantastic. It's overdue, and it's something that I think really needs to happen. So the way it would work is that the top 4 teams will be receiving buys. So if we're going off of what the rankings, the playoff rankings were last year, this is how the playoffs would look. The Alabama, Clemson, Ohio State, and Oklahoma would have buys. Then you have 4 of the games in the first round. You have 12 against the 5, 11 seed against the 6, 10 against the 7, and then 9 against the 8. And I still loved how you have 12 teams and still not a single Pac-12 team made the top 12 this year and would have made the playoffs. Hey, shout out Pac-12. You guys are really good at football. Keep doing what you're doing. Oh.
Ouch.
Oh, remember when Oregon was in the national championship game like 5 years ago?
Didn't they get blown out?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's not talk about that.
Some things never change. Oh, boy. But what do you think about this? And is this the method that they should use going forward?
Yeah, I like it. I think this is long overdue. In college football, it's the main place, like, you see upsets. Like, if you think of all sports, college football is the biggest place for the biggest upsets. Some no-name school coming in and being a top 25 school happens at least once a year. It just happens, and it's a shocker.
Can we talk about the Raging Cajuns last year? Hell yeah.
Wow. It was always a shocking team. So I think having a 12-team playoff, it adds extra week for college players, but at the same time, it adds an extra game for those guys who still need to solidify their draft stock. It adds another one for guys who have question marks about them or guys who got injured early in the season and need that extra week to come back. I feel like it would be good for them overall. I think that it does add the chance for a little bit of mix-up. I feel like since the college playoffs were made, it's been pretty straightforward. The top team has won 9 times out of 10 since we created these playoffs. I feel like adding this a little bit of extra week adds a team that is number 12 or one of those just top 12 teams who's not a top 4. They get that first week. They win that week. They gain the momentum. They shock the team the next week. Mm-hmm. Now they're in the finals against another team, but they're on a 2-game win streak and on a roll. And it gives them that momentum to face another top team. When it's right now, when it's the top 4 teams, you play a game against a team that people pretty much expect you to beat, mm-hmm. and then you go into the final. There's no momentum about it. It's just you go and win a game. Everyone expects you to win, and it's over. This has a little bit more excitement, a little bit more chance for excitement, for a better term of it. Mm-hmm. And I think this could be better for everyone. I think it's better, more playing time for players, more chance to show who you are as a player, and I think it kind of keeps people locked in. I feel like a lot more players won't opt out of games mm-hmm. With this new playoff system. I feel like we get to see a lot more players play for a lot longer than they normally would under current circumstances.
Also, let's speak directly to the NCAA because we know what they like. More teams, more games, more money. Right? That's all you got to say. So
we did not rehearse that. We both just knew the answer to that.
Everyone should know the answer. What's the NCAA like? Oh, more money. What's the NCAA like? Robbing athletes. Can't do that anymore, at least not as bad. So shout out to that Supreme Court decision going down. So that's great stuff. Would love to hear what you guys think about this proposed 12-team college system. I'm a huge fan of it. Jalen's obviously a huge fan of it. So just wondering if you agree with us on that. But I kind of teased at the beginning, and you would have heard it on the weekend wind down if you listened to that. But let's talk about the fraud and substance checks that the MLB has been doing. So, this week, last week, starting on Monday, the 20th of June, they put in a rule where, umpires will check players or pitchers at the beginning and the ending of innings, and managers could call for players to be checked. Of course, the first day that this was implemented, we already had managers taking or abusing this new set of rules. Shout out to you, scumbag Joe Girardi. That really pissed me off, Jalen. Joe Girardi getting Max Scherzer 3 times in one game for checks.
Yeah.
3 times! What, you think he's just going to change this up in between innings?
I feel like he was just trying to see how far the rule goes.
Like, yeah, I think that.
Are you serious? Like, I can say it as many times as I want.
Right.
And he's like, all right, let's see.
And then he got pissed off that Max Scherzer was getting annoyed with him. He got kicked out of the game, and I thought that was total Bush. That was total Bush move play. It moved by him. I think that was just has no place in the MLB. But yeah, Max Scherzer getting mad. You had A's relief pitcher Sergio Romo taking down his pants. So that
was my favorite reaction. To be
honest. Right, wasn't that good? So the umps could check that out. The one guy that's been okay with this is, of course, Shohei Ohtani, because he goes over, he smiles at the umps, and goes, do I need to take off my belt? So shout out to him for being the best player in the MLB right now, also the most wholesome. So on the quick question, Jalen, if Shohei Ohtani hits a piss missile of a home run, is it insensitive to call it a nuke?
Let's edit that one out of this
show. But at least with this 4 and 7 checks, it's not all out of failure for Rob Manfred, because one person has gotten checked, and of course it's a Mariners picture. Hector Santiago was the first person to get caught using banned substances, and dude, why would you think that's a good idea? They're explicitly checking for this, and you still do. You still try to cheat. What, you think you're going to get past him like that, Jalen?
No. I don't know what he was thinking. Honestly, if you're going to use it again, just wait. Just wait. This really isn't going to last forever. People are going to get annoyed. No. It's just going to end.
I don't think it makes it past 2 months of being in place.
Exactly. You could just wait. It's not. We're still not even into the part of the season where games really are like counting down to the wire.
Right.
So
also,
at this
don't
point,
imagine if you count down to the wire. Dude, you're on the Mariners. You're not making the playoffs. What's the point of cheating, okay? Come
yeah, now
on,
you're a
man.
Mariners player who's suspended. Now you're
Come
Saturday
on,
doing
man.
the worst, and you're a Mariner.
Right? Come on, man. Like, dude, what's cheating going to do? Oh, yeah, you might make a difference in 4 games? Hey, the Mariners going to be out of the division standings by 20. So your 4 games is going to mean a damn thing. Oh, I'm so sorry, Mariners fans, but it be like that, man. It be like that, Jalen, you know?
And the Mariners are so bad. So bad. Watch this. I'm gonna try to pull up the roster. The Mariners are so bad. They didn't even win the Nene of the Week. They got second place in that.
Oh, that's a good one, Jalen. Hey,
Thank you.
But the funny thing about that, right before we get to the Nene of the Weekend, the cap of this episode, the NHL Finals are upon us. So like I said, I tease a new voice to the episodic shows. If you listen to AFL, you know his name. You love his name. That's Coach Johnny Hess. So we're going to swing on over for a number of minutes, and we're going to talk some NHL Finals. You know, typically right now, we wouldn't be talking about the Stanley Cup playoffs. Well, man, this whole season's felt weird. This whole season's felt weird, given the start date, given all the everything leading up to it, the somewhat condensed season. At least one thing stayed constant, and that is, as a Sharks fan, I experienced nothing but pain and disappointment. So at least I had something to go off of. I'm sure, Donnie, you kind of had the same feeling there as a Sabres fan. But thanks for joining to this little part of episode 61 of Fourth and Long. We're just going to, normally you hear my voice on everything because, you know, I'm just that guy. Donnie, he's always on our AFL stuff. He's AFL correspondent, but he's going to join us, talk a little NHL. So just initial thoughts about this matchup between the Canadiens and the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Oh man, what a matchup! 2 completely different teams. You have all of the all-star-less style of talent on the Tampa Bay Lightning, with Stamkos, with Kucherov, with Vasilevsky, and then you have kind of the workman-like Montreal Canadiens with a bunch of veterans that you would think maybe their careers are done in Corey Perry and Eric Stahl, but man, just what a spectacular matchup of goaltenders. Vasilevsky versus Price. I mean, I'm a goalie guy, always have been. So I cannot wait for the Stanley Cup final to get started so soon. It's going to be a goalie matchup. It's going to be fantastic hockey. I cannot wait.
Man, the one thing that did kind of suck, though, is I was thrilled that I was rooting for the Avs because I picked them to win the Stanley Cup, so I wanted to be right. Obviously, that didn't work out because, you know, they go ahead. They win 6 games in a row of the playoffs, and then they blow the last 4 to Vegas. And thank God that we're not getting Vegas in the finals, even though it looked like that's exactly what the NHL wanted to do with their questionable officiating. Let's just put it at that. But thank God because when Vegas loses, we all win, and it's great to see an underdog like the Canadiens in the finals. The first time in like 28 years that they made it. The first time in a decade that we've seen a Canadian team in the finals. Like the last one was the Vancouver Canucks, and they were the President's Trophy winners. So we see a team that barely made it to the playoffs. Number 16 team. The worst team in the playoffs if you're going by seeding. But they pull out all the stops. They're just somehow making it through. But on the other side of the conference, to the other conference, you get the reigning, defending, undisputed Stanley Cup champions of the world, the Tampa Bay Lightning, and they're exactly where everyone expected them to be. I was really bummed that that the Islanders didn't win that series. I was really rooting for a Canadiens-Islanders series because that would have been ridiculous. But hey, at least we get one underdog here. And there's some really interesting stuff to take a look at. I mean, both these teams, like you said, Donnie, high-flying. Their offenses are great. Their defenses are stout. And both of the goaltenders have been phenomenal, not only this season. I mean, Carey Price, a little bit less than phenomenal at stretches of the season. But he's really got his act together in this playoffs, and he's come up clutch a lot of the time for this Montreal team. And, I mean, Vasilevsky, I don't really know what else to say about that guy other than he's a brick wall in the net. So, what do you see from these two teams coming into the finals, and what do you think is the biggest thing to look out for?
No, I think it's a little bit of a talk of two different roads. I mean, for me, honestly, though, I don't think Tampa was exactly the heavy favorite even in their division. They finished third behind Tampa and Carolina. I mean, Carolina was kind of the surprise of that Central Division
Man,
because I
I'm
think
telling you, I
everybody
really
saw
want
Tampa there.
man. If the Canes or the Panthers made the cup, I would have been so
Well,
happy.
that was kind of the crazy part about that whole division. You had Nashville, you had Chicago, you had Dallas, you had so many, you had Columbus, all
Hmm.
teams that have had a lot of playoff success the last few years, and Tampa. So seeing Florida and Carolina be the top two teams in that division were a tiny bit of a surprise, but I think a lot of people gave Tampa a lot of chance just because Florida is still a younger team. They've built a really good team, but
Hmm.
I think a lot of people were expecting next year, the year after, to be kind of Florida's year where they kind of make that run and be a floor be a Stanley Cup contender. And then Montreal, I mean, what a back and forth season they had. They fired their coach halfway through the season. I think a lot of the people kind of went, well, Montreal season is done. In fact,
Hmm.
I talking with another friend of mine who's also a huge hockey fan, I think when they fired their coach, we thought, well, Montreal is going to fall out of the playoffs and the North will be the Toronto Maple Leafs to win. And
Right?
man, they came into the playoffs like a house on fire and just have absolutely played spectacular
Well,
hockey. And
they in the playoffs they came in like a house on fire. Entering the playoffs, going 0-5 in the last 5 regular season games, didn't look like it. But man, what a turnaround! This whole team is a turnaround.
yeah, they just started playing good team, solid defensive hockey, and then they just get timely goals. They get goals when they need it. I mean, I don't think a lot of people expected Cole Caulfield to explode like he has. I mean, he's got a super fan in JJ Watt now, who's even wearing a Montreal Canadian jersey on some of the broadcasts. It's absolutely outstanding. I am very interested to see how many people jump on the Canadian bandwagon since Tampa has won a championship. And I know sometimes we don't always like dynasties so much. I'm
Hmm.
very interested to see how many people jump on the Montreal Canadian bandwagon going into the Stanley Cup finals.
Man, talking about JJ Watt, just wears nothing but red, whether it be Wisconsin, whether it be with the Texans. I mean, that alternates red. The Cardinals, now the Canadians. So that color just looks fantastic on him. And it's just crazy. I'm really excited about this matchup because it seems like both are veterans, but some of them. It's almost like, correct me if I'm wrong, but it feels like to me that the Canadians are a team of veterans that play almost like this really young team of almost rookies. Just the way they kind of let it all out there, and uh, man, they just kind of just send the puck around sometimes. It's kind of funny. It looks like they're kind of spitballing on what the hell they're trying to do out there, and then it seems like they're almost like running into a juggernaut out with the Tampa Bay, almost like running into a wall with them. So they're definitely probably going to open up the series as they've opened up as underdog, and that's why I'm interested to see how do you think this series plays out, how many games, and who wins.
Oh, this is one of those head hearts. You argue with yourself, but
Yes, it is.
there's just something about it. I don't know what it is. When they knocked out the Toronto Maple Leafs, I thought there's something about this Canadian teams that I like. I think this honestly, they've kept this nice little formula
Mm-hmm.
is that Montreal's got to win one of the first two games down in Amalie Arena to I think kind of steal the advantage from Tampa.
Yes.
Going up to Montreal is never easy. It's a tough building to win. Now there is a massive difference in fan support. Tampa's going to have a full house. Toronto, Montreal, not so much. They're still kind of fighting with some things. I'm gonna go Montreal in six, and I just think their workman-like mentality
Mm-hmm.
and Tampa playing a few more games. Montreal did get that sweep against Winnipeg, so they
Yep.
don't have as many games on their legs. The travel, Tampa has had to travel a lot more than Montreal has. It's just to Winnipeg was their farthest trip until Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
So really, I look at it like this. I think Montreal in six, but this is going to be a spectacular series. If it goes seven, it will not surprise me. I, again, Montreal's a lot like the New York Islanders, but I think they're just a tiny bit more talented, with almost a little bit more workmanlike and speed with some of their forwards. So I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
give Montreal the tip on this one. I'm going to go with my heart instead of my head on this one.
I'm gonna go to the opposite. I'm going with my brain on this one, just because, man, the way you look at Tampa Bay, at least on paper, and also when how some of the stuff plays out on the ice, they have the clear advantage here. They have a better front line. They have a better goalie, at least overall. This season over the past couple, and then this line of just having your top scorers in Kucherov, Brandon Point, Alex Killhorn. These guys have been going off, and Braden Point has looked phenomenal, not only this season, but also the postseason. It looks like it doesn't look like anyone could stop this man right now. And then also Steven Stamkos has looked great ever since returning from his injury. So I'm going to go the Tampa Bay Lightning on this one. They're going to repeat, and to be honest, it's tough because this crowd would go insane. This whole city and country would go insane if the Canadians do win this cup. But for Tampa Bay to win it in the bubble last year, and then it took a number of weeks for them to actually be able to even raise the banner in front of their fans. But for them to win the Stanley Cup in front of their fans this year, man, I think that place would explode. I have the Tampa Bay Lightning in 7.
Not a bad choice. I hope it goes 7. That would be spectacular.
I'm hoping for a long, drawn-out, smash-mouth, back-and-forth series because, especially when I don't really have a dog in the fight, I won't have a dog in the fight for the foreseeable future because the Sharks suck and they can't get it together, and all they do is overpay old veterans with a really closing window. But there's my rant.
It happens.
Oh, it happens way too often. I think the thing I feel worse about is
Buffalo's still paying Cody Hodson, so I can't really complain too much.
Oh, you're still paying
Cody? With me.
Oh, that's awful.
One more season at about $750,000.
That sounds like some Bobby Bonilla type stuff with the Mets. Jeez, that's not good. But love to see what you guys have in here. Give us your predictions. We'll be releasing our predictions over on our socials, Instagram, Twitter. Everything will be linked, or you can just go to thefourthalong.com. Like I've been plugging this entire show. Donnie, thank you for making a guest appearance on your first episode show. So congrats to you. And we finally got to talk some hockey like you've been wanting to. Here we go. Just how we end our episodes. We're going to end this segment. Your thoughts going into the Stanley Cup Finals in one word or phrase.
Oh, man. Electric again. This is going to be an electric finals. I think it's going to be absolutely just dynamic fan bases. I cannot wait to hear the roar of that first goal whenever it goes in for the home team. Cannot wait. So electric.
Don't know if that was a pun about the Lightning, but I do appreciate it nonetheless. Let's get back to the episode. Man, thank you guys so much for that fantastic NHL Finals preview. Man, that guy over on the right side, or on the left side of your screen, really is quite good looking. And he looks great in that teal sweater. Even though it's hot as hell right now, it's the middle of summer, the Sharks suck, but still wearing that thing. Not out of pride. It's not out of pride.
Yeah, I do the same thing, man. It's okay.
Yeah, but Nene of the Week, and it's not me. The best segment, I know you guys always look forward to this. It's none other than the Nene of the Week. And it's from a sport that I never talk about because I don't care about it. And it's not soccer. It's it's cycling. They call it cycling. Not biking, it's cycling.
Cycling.
Yeah, cycling. At the Tour de France, we had some spectator on the side of the road holding out a cardboard sign, and he caused a massive pileup.
She. I thought it was a she.
She? They caused a massive pileup on all of these bikers. Oh, that was one of the funniest things, and I think that's the most entertaining thing this sport of cycling has ever seen. But how are you going to get
biking was one of the most fragile sports.
Right, you're going to get knocked over by a cardboard sign, man. Who does that? Who does that?
Did you see the pileup? The entire race is just like
30 people, over. Man. Like 30 people get knocked over by a cardboard sign. It's like if someone went real hard, they blow on you.
And the lady's like leaning out with the cardboard sign, like, yeah! And then the dude runs into it, and you see his face, and he falls over. Another guy fell over, and like 10 more guys fell over, and then bikes are just flopping, and people just falling over.
Everywhere. But man,
people just falling over.
They deserve this. The winner of the Nene of the Week award for this week goes to the bicyclist that get knocked over by a cardboard freaking sign, man. You can
Wait, should the Nene of the Week go to the cardboard lady?
No.
Knocked over?
So these are for people that get Nene. We'll give a Nene-er of the Week award to the lady holding the sign. Nene-er of the Week, but the people that got Nene this week.
The backstory. The lady was that guy's ex, saw him coming. He was about to be close to winning the race, so she leans out, knocks him off his bike.
I don't know.
They broke off on bad terms.
I think you're thinking a little too far into this, Jalen.
I didn't even know the backstory. No one leans that far around in front of a bicycle race unless you don't like somebody in the race. Just saying.
I swear, if you're actually onto something about this, I'll be pissed.
She knows somebody in that race.
Leak sources. She knows leak sources.
She knows somebody that was losing the race.
Oh, no.
And so she calls the pilot to let him catch up and get in front.
But he was a part of the pileup. So then they break up.
What if we go back and rewatch the tape, and in the back some guy slows down as everyone else starts falling, gets off his bike, goes around, and just takes off. Like he knew it was coming.
Hey, Jalen, you want to know what I think? I think we need to stop talking just in the episode. Because we're kind of getting a little far off. Right?
That's a little fair.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for listening on into episode 61 of Fourth and Long. Keep an eye out for all these great shows coming out this week, whether it be UFC Talk 50 coming on up to Big 5-0. I might wear a suit. Depending on how hot it is, I probably won't because that'd be sweaty as hell. AFL round 15 breakdown, right? It's kind of crazy. And then, of course, the weekend wind down and everything in between. But, Jalen, your thoughts going into the NHL finals in one word or phrase?
Depression.
That's fair as a Vegas fan. But you know what they say? When Vegas loses, we win. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for listening. Check us out on all of our socials. Shout out to our Patreon supporters for all your card collecting needs. Go on and Instagram and follow at the Big Bad Box. Shout out to Ray Rodriguez. Shout out to Ryan Watson and Neil Wiley. Jalen, I'm so sorry, but in reality, I am not. Have a great day, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for listening.